The single formula of efficacious elixir prescribed by the divine monk, however, broke through the cause, and that's how I recovered. With a chuckle, Pilgrim said, "When Old Monkey examined your majesty yesterday, I knew already that the illness had been caused by anxiety. But I don't know what you were anxious about." The king said, "According to the ancients, the disgrace of a family should never be spread without. But the divine monk, on the other hand, is our benefactor. If you do not laugh at us, we shall tell you." "How could I dare laugh at you?" said Pilgrim. "You need not hesitate to tell me. As you journeyed from the east," said the king. "How many states have you passed through?" "About 5 or 6, replied Pilgrim. "How do they address the consorts of the king?" he asked again. Pilgrim said, "The ranking wife of a king would be called the Central Palace, and those 2 consorts next in rank would be called the East Palace and the West Palace, respectively. The titles here are slightly different," said the king. "Our Central Palace bears the name of the Golden Sage Palace, the East Palace is called the Jade Sage Palace, and the West Palace has the title of Silver Sage Palace. At the moment, we have only the Jade and Silver consorts with us." "Why is the Golden Sage Palace absent?" asked Pilgrim. As tears fell from his eyes, the king said, "She hasn't been with us for 3 years." "Where has she gone to?" asked Pilgrim again. The king said, 3 years ago, during the time of the Double Fifth Festival, we were all gathered with our consorts inside the pomegranate pavilion of our garden, cutting up rice cakes, affixing the Artemisia plant to our garments, drinking wine made from the calamus and realgar, and watching the dragon boat races. Suddenly a gust arose, and a monster spirit appeared in the air. Calling himself Jupiter's rival, he claimed that he lived in the cave of the mythic beast at the Unicorn Mountain. Because he did not have a wife, he made investigation and learned of the great beauty of our Golden Sage Palace. He demanded that we turn her out, and if we did not after his asking us 3 times, he would first eat us alive, and then proceed to devour the various officials and the people of the entire capital. Burdened, therefore, by the care of the state and the people at the time, we had no alternative but to push Golden Sage Palace out of the pomegranate pavilion, where she was immediately abducted by the fiend with a single sound. That incident, of course, gave us a great fright, and the glutinous rice cakes we ate thus remained undigested in our body. Moreover, we were ridden with anxious thoughts night and day, which led to 3 long years of bitter illness. Now that we have the good fortune of taking the efficacious elixir of the divine monk, we have purged several times, and all that waste accumulated 3 years ago has been eliminated. That's why our frame has turned healthy, and our body has lightened, and we feel as energetic as before. The life I regain today is entirely a gift of the divine monk. Even the weight of Mount Tai cannot compare with the magnitude of your favor." When Pilgrim heard these words, he was filled with delight, so much so that he drank in 2 gulps that huge goblet of wine. Smiling broadly, he said to the king, "So, that was the cause of your majesty's fear and anxiety. Now you've met Old Monkey, and you are lucky to be cured. But do you want the Golden Sage Palace returned to your kingdom?" Shedding tears again, the king replied, "There's not a day or a night that we do not yearn for her presence, but no one is able to arrest the monster spirit for us. How could I not want her return? Let Old Monkey go and bring that perverse fiend to submission," said Pilgrim. "How about it?" The king immediately went to his knees and said, "If you can rescue our queen, we are willing to lead all the residents of this palace, and all my consorts out to the city to live as common people. We shall present our entire kingdom to you and let you be the ruler." When 8 rules on the side saw the king speak and act in this manner, he could not refrain from laughing uproariously. This king has lost his sense of propriety, he cried. How could he refuse his kingdom just for the sake of his wife and kneel to a monk? Hurrying forward to raise the king, Pilgrim said, "Your Majesty, since he has abducted the Golden Sage Palace, has that monster spirit ever returned?" After he took away the Golden Sage Palace during the 5th month year before last," replied the king. "He returned during the 10th month to demand 2 palace maidens to serve our queen. We immediately gave him what he requested. Last year, in the 3rd month, he came to ask for 2 more palace maidens. By the 7th, he took away 2 more. And in the 2nd month of this year, he came again for still 2 more. We do not know when he will come to make his demand anew, after he has come so many times," said Pilgrim. "Aren't you afraid of him?" The king said. "His many visits have frightened us indeed, and, moreover, we fear that he may even harm us further. In the 4th month of last year, we ordered the engineers to build us a fiend shelter. Whenever we hear the sound of the wind and know that he's coming, we will hide in the shelter with our 2 consorts and 9 concubines. If your majesty is willing," said Pilgrim, "please take Old Monkey to have a look at the fiend shelter. How about it?" Using his left hand to take hold of Pilgrim, the king left the banquet as all the officials rose to their feet. "Elder brother," said Zhu 8 Rules, "you are so unreasonable. All this imperial wine and you refuse to drink it? You have to break up the nice party. Why must you go look at this shelter?" On hearing this, the king realized that 8 Rules' only interest was his mouth. He at once ordered the stewards to carry 2 tables of vegetarian food and wine to the shelter and wait there for them. Only then did Idiot stop his complaints and say to his master and Sha Monk, laughing, "Let's change to another banquet." Led by a row of civil and military officials, the king went with Pilgrim through the palace to the rear imperial garden, but there was not a single building in sight. "Where's the fiend shelter?" asked Pilgrim. Hardly had he finished speaking when 2 eunuchs, gripping 2 red lacquered poles, pried loose from the ground a huge slab of stone. The king said, "That is the shelter. It's more than 20 feet deep down there, with 9 dug-out chambers. Placed in there are 4 huge cisterns filled with clear oil, which is used for keeping the lamps lit night and day. When we hear the sound of the wind and go in there to hide, people outside will close up the hole with the stone slab." Pilgrim chuckled and said, "That monster spirit obviously does not wish to harm you. If he does, you think you can hide from him down there." He had not quite finished his sentence when a powerful gust of wind roared in from due south, spraying dirt and dust into the air. Those officials became so frightened that they all protested in unison. "This monk has such an ill-luck mouth. He speaks of the monster spirit, and at once the monster spirit shows up." Abandoning Pilgrim, the terrified monarch at once crawled into the hole in the ground, followed by the Tang monk and all the other officials. 8 Rules and Sha Monk, too, wanted to hide, but they were pulled back by Pilgrim's 2 hands. "Brothers," he said, "don't be afraid. Let's you and I try to discover what kind of monster spirit this is." "You must be jesting," said 8 Rules. "Why do you want to make such a discovery? The officials have hidden themselves, Master has gone out of sight, and the king has stepped aside. Why don't we just leave? Who cares about his pedigree?" Our idiot twisted left and right, but he could not struggle free of Pilgrim's firm grip. After some time, there emerged in midair a monster spirit. Look how he appears. A 9-foot-long body, savage and fierce. A pair of round eyes, flashing like gold lamps. 2 large forked ears like protruding fans. And 4 sharp teeth like steel nails sticking up. Red hair flanked his head, his eyebrows sprouted flames. A bottle nose dangled with nostrils flaring. A few strands of beard like thick scarlet threads. His cheekbones were rugged, his face was green. 2 arms of red veins, 2 indigo hands. And 10 pointed claws holding high a lance. A leopard skin kilt wrapped around his waist. A ghost with tousled hair and naked feet. When he saw the monster, Pilgrim asked, "Sha Monk, do you recognize him?" "I haven't made his acquaintance," replied Sha Monk. "How could I recognize him?" Pilgrim asked again. 8 Rules, do you recognize him?" I have never had tea or wine with him," replied 8 Rules. "Nor am I a friend or neighbor of his. How could I recognize him?" Pilgrim said. "He rather looks like the demon gatekeeper with golden pupils and shriveled face under the command of Equal to Heaven, the Eastern Mountain." "No, no," said 8 Rules. "How do you know that?" asked Pilgrim. "A demon," said 8 Rules, "is a spirit of darkness, and it will make its appearance only late in the day, say, between the hour of monkey and that of the boar. Right now it's still noon. Which demon would dare come out? Even if he's a demon, he can't mount the clouds. And if he knows how to use the wind, he will only be able to summon a little whirlwind, not a violent wind like this. Perhaps he is the very Jupiter's rival." "Dear idiot," said Pilgrim, chuckling. "You have a point there. You two stand guard here, and let Old Monkey go ask for his name. Then we can rescue the Golden Sage Palace for the king. If you want to go, go," said 8 Rules. "But don't reveal that we are here." Without further reply, Pilgrim mounted the auspicious luminosity to leap into the air. Ah, so it is that. To secure a state one must first cure the king's disease. To safeguard the way one must purge the evil-loving heart. We do not know, as he rises into the air, whether he will win or lose, or how he manages to capture the fiend and rescue the Golden Sage Palace. Let's listen to the explanation in the next chapter.